What's going on, everybody, and welcome back. Today, we're going to have a real conversation, an honest conversation directed towards Bungie about Destiny 2, the state of the game, but more importantly, what they actually need to do to fix it. Because listen, I've loved this franchise for years. I've poured thousands of hours into it, built friendships, made content, and just like many of you, I want this game to thrive. But right now, there are some serious pain points that are holding it back. So in this video, I want to break down the main areas that Bungie needs to improve on and how, from the portal system, events, PvP, including trials, bugs, QA, Gambit even, and finally, why Pantheon absolutely needs to come back. Let's get into it. First up, the portal. Now, in theory, this thing is supposed to streamline our play sessions. It tells us what's available, what rewards we can earn, and on paper, it sounds fantastic. And I honestly thought that it was going to be a fantastic addition. But here's the issue. It soft locks the majority of the game's content, and right now there's no real reason to play most of the amazing content in Destiny, from raids, dungeons, lost sectors, some other exotic missions that haven't been added back into the portal, just because the rewards don't scale and they don't tier like the portal rewards do. If Bungie wants the portal to actually work, it needs to include all of the game's content. Raids, dungeons, exotic missions, strikes, everything. And those activities need to reward tiered loot based on difficulty, not power level and not guardian rank. Because grinding for power just to unlock access to loot is not fun, it is tedious. Rewards should scale with the challenge. Grandmasters should feel like grandmasters, not like chores with a dozen force modifiers. You want us to play the game the way that we want to play, and you want to reward us for tackling harder challenges, then so be it. Let us play the game the way that we want to play, because right now it feels like we're forced to play it your way. And conquests, yes, Bungie did make those farmable, but nobody wants to be forced into using awkward weapons and sets of armor just to get rewards. Nobody likes avant-garde or touche. That needs to, without a doubt, go. Builds are some of the most fun parts of Destiny. So locking us into a specific loadout completely kills that diversity. Imagine instead you load into any activity you want, you can choose the difficulty that you want to, and if you want to opt into a negative power, your chances at higher tiered loot increases. Not just higher power, but higher tiered. That way it's a skill and a choice driving rewards, not arbitrary ranks or power levels. Now let's talk events. Solstice was actually a pretty good event. It was better than it has been in the past, and I love that I could earn tier 5s and shiny weapons, even at a lower power level, without grinding and grinding and grinding just for the sake of a number. Heavy metal, didn't really care for it too much. I didn't play it the first time it came around. I tried it the second time just because I wanted the shiny new shotgun, and it was okay. We had fun. We played with chat. And Iron Banner, listen, Iron Banner for me was one of the most rewarding event activities that has come in the Edge of Fate, and Bungie did drop the ball on the loot. I mean, hard. Nobody asked or nobody wanted a reprised 140 hand cannon with terrible perks and terrible stats. The community would much rather have wanted the steady hand to come back, an insane 120 that hasn't been in the game in years, that a lot of people probably have never heard of, or even a tiered multi-mock, one of the best SMGs in the game. Weapons people genuinely would have been excited for and would have driven players to actually play Iron Banner. Instead, we got the finite, I don't even know its full name because it's a dud. The upside, I was still getting tiered 5 every single game that I played, which did make my time feel valuable, but it's only because I was at a high enough reward and my guardian rank was high enough. I spent a lot of time playing Iron Banner with chat, and I was getting tier 5s every single game, but nobody else in my fire team was. Rewards in events need to be scaled fairly for everyone, not just based on their power level or the guardian rank and that arbitrary number we talked about a second ago. If I'm sitting at 450 power and my teammate's a bit lower, we both should be rewarded for our time. They should also have a higher chance to get higher tiered rewards just like me. It's not fair that just because I made number go higher means I get higher rewards because I did Caldera 1,000 times. They should still have the ability to try to grind for higher tiered loot just like I can. Otherwise, people are just going to not play. And I think that we've seen that throughout the Edge of Fate, and we've definitely seen that in Ash and Iron. And speaking of PvP, let's talk Trials of Osiris. And before I lose some of you, because I do know the mode is divisive, and I'll be honest, kind of annoying, let's be real, but I actually enjoy it 75% of the time. I love the cosmetics, I love the glow, and I like the challenge as much as I'll complain about it. But in the current system, it punishes average players way too hard. Sure, you can still get a 7-win card in 100 losses and still go to the Lighthouse, but it takes away what the Lighthouse was at that point. I like that everyone has the chance to go and see what it looks like and open the chest and, you know, get some rewards based on your win streak, but it can be done so much better. When you force players to go 7-0 for a flawless, it feels brutal, especially for people that are average or below average, or someone maybe that just wants the glow for the first time, or a better chance of getting better rewards. No one's going to want to spend 100 games playing just to win 7 of those games to go to the Lighthouse and get crappy loot. Nobody wants to do that. I myself have around 90 flawless clears under my belt between pre-Edge of Fate and now. But now trying to go in a 7-0 card against people that are cheating, against people that are quitting the game because we're losing a match, and just the chance of statistically you lose about half of your games. That's what my stats show throughout my entire duration of trials. It feels exhausting. Bringing back the Mercy card lets players forgive the loss or two, and it makes flawless feel like it's an achievable thing. Or hell, even a 5-win streak. If you were able to play 3 games and you lose 1, and then you win 2 games again, thanks to a Mercy card, you just got a 5-win streak. Now you can go to the Lighthouse even with just a 5-win streak after you get 7 full wins, and you're still going to get better loot because you have a higher win streak. This, to me, would incentivize players to jump in and play a lot more if they knew they had a little bit of forgiveness on their side. Because if you're playing solo, like a lot of the Trials population actually is, you don't have a guaranteed statistic that you're going to get matched with someone better than you, someone that's worse than you. You're going to get matched with a random duo that could be really good or really bad. And let's not even bring up the fact that duos shouldn't be a thing in PvP in 3v3 game modes, nor should heavy, but that might be for a later video and a later conversation. Give people the ability and the hope to achieve something to go after and actually reward them for their time. I don't want to go 7-100 just to get to the Lighthouse and get crappy loot because, hey, I didn't get a high enough win streak. It's a game mode that is skill-based regardless of whether or not it's skill-based matchmaking. It's still, there's a lot of variables in play, not like they are in PvE. So if you give people a little bit of a chance to actually get some better rewards, I think that game mode would thrive a lot more. And I'm sure the PvP content creators have their own ideas that would actually help, and I think it's worth the listen. But on top of that, Trials rewards should drop across the board with attunement as an option. If I'm chasing a helmet, I should be able to focus my drop rewards on a helmet. Otherwise, it feels pointless to grind those 100 games for a weapon or an armor piece I don't want. I know there seems like there might be a knockout system, but if you go to the setup where it's a featured machine gun for the entire week and that's all that's dropping, it's not really worth it. But if you give me the ability to grind for Trials and say, hey, I'm new to Trials, but I really want to try out this awesome ever-burning glitz, I can attune to it, and most of the time, I might get that to drop, whether or not I win or lose, whether or not I go flawless or not. You might get more people into the game mode because they can chase after the loot they actually want to chase after. That gives the players the ability to play the way they want to play. Trials could be amazing. It just needs accessibility improvements for the middle tier players, for the low end players, and the people who generally want to engage with it. It needs to be rewarding at all ends. Low skill, win or lose, but it needs to be rewarding and better. Now we have to talk about the bugs, because it feels like every week something is broken. Abilities don't work consistently, ornaments crash consoles, or weapons delete bosses by accident, which, don't get me wrong, is a ton of fun, but they seem to address those a lot faster than anything else. I'm surprised they gave us 2 weeks with Sturm and Drang, and I'm surprised they gave us a week for the Quick Fang. But some bugs are funny. They lead to wild builds. Most of them just ruin the experience, though. And Bungie, I don't want to be blunt, but you need a dedicated entire full-time QA team, not contractors, not outsourced testing. You need a salaried team whose sole job is to catch this stuff or catch most of this stuff if possible before it goes live. And they continue to test into the live game. Upon releasing, upon adding new things, upon new activities, there needs to be ongoing testing for current live in-game content, but also for developed content, because nothing is going to kill your momentum faster than realizing you shipped every single thing with a bug and now your player base is sick and tired of it because you can't use the builds you want to use. You guys said you fixed the Tempest Strike and Combination Blow. Sure, it works fantastic in the shooting range, but if you take it back into an actual in-game content, yeah, Combination Blow also gets procced right now by Tempest Strike, but Tempest Strike isn't going to fully refund the class ability energy. It's very iffy if it does it the same across the board. Sometimes you might get it completely back. Sometimes you might get 10% of it back. Sometimes you might get 50% of it back. It's still bugged, but Sturm and Drain got fixed. So there's that. All right, Gambit fans, this one is for you. This mode has been neglected for far too long. No new maps, stale or weird metas. I feel like if I was going to go play Gambit, all I needed to do is take in Xenophage and get a bunch of heavy and just go invade. And the rewards feel like an afterthought. I haven't stepped foot into Gambit since that hand cannon, that Void 120 was in the game, whatever the hell it's called. I don't remember because it's been that long. But here's my pitch. To make Gambit better and to rework it and make it worth playing. Make Gambit into a large, open map, PvEVP, looter shooter / extraction elements to it. Before you lose me here, trust me, I've thought this through. 2 teams with their own bases or their own moat deposits like we have now. But instead of just banking moats in isolation and having a portal to go through, when you get enough moats banked, you can actually attack the enemy's bank at any time. Steal the moats, slow their progress, and push risk versus reward into every decision you make. Do you want to bank safely and build towards your own primeval to spawn? Or do you want to risk an attack and potentially lose everything or gain everything? This would bring Gambit back to life while keeping its PvE VP identity intact. Redo the rewards, give them tier loot, give them set bonuses for their armor. You already have the mechanics. It just needs a bold, fresh rework, right? If you have the ability to play the Gambit the way you want, because for me, I like to invade when I used to play Gambit. If it was the chance to always go invade, or defeat enemies, or clear the team out by their bank, and I could steal moats out of it, and I could bring it back to my team, and give my team a higher chance to get our primeval to spawn faster, 100%. I'm playing that every single day. I'm streaming that every single day. That sounds like such a fun way to play Gambit, and it's fresh, it's new. Give them better rewards. Give them the new armor, new maps. Make it rework, make it bold, and people will play. If you guys like that idea, comment down below. Please share this video so Bungie may see it one day and it gets on their radar and it makes the game better for everybody, because that's what we all want at the end of the day, is a game that we all enjoy and a game that works as intended and what it says like it should on paper. But finally, Bungie, we got to talk Pantheon, because for the love of God, put it back into the game and put it into the portal. It was one of the best pinnacle activities this game has ever had. Constant action, boss after boss, reward after reward, red bordered loot, constant raid weapons, exotics every single week for raids. It was the best. It kept players engaged for hours. I spent 9 hours in planets on an LFG team on -20 content because I wanted the damn emblem. And I have it. I have the emblem. I have the Godslayer title because I grinded for it. It was so incentivizing to play. And it keeps people wanting to go back. It respected player time, and it gave us that dopamine hit of accomplishment because it was constant action after constant action. And you need to bring that back, but also do the exact same thing with dungeons. String the bosses back to back, cut out the traversal, and keep the action consistent just like Pantheon, and that prove that formula worked. And there's no reason, it shouldn't be in the game right now. Dungeon layers are cool, but When you're inviting new players and you want the portal to be accessible for everybody, you're taking a brand new Guardian and tossing him into Heaven's Vengeance, who has no idea what the dungeon mechanics are, who is going to get so annoyed by the rock traversal jumping section, they're probably not even going to finish the activity. Give us constant boss action after boss action after boss action. You're going to have a higher player base. You're going to have a higher player retention. I, without a doubt, can promise you that. Because at the end of the day, I know this video might sound negative or critical, but it all comes from a place of passion. I love Destiny, I love this community, and I want this game to succeed. But Bungie needs to make some big changes to respect our time, to reward our effort, and actually let us play the way that we want to play. If you agree with anything that I've said or any of this resonated with you, please let me know in the comments. Drop your own ideas of how Bungie can fix Destiny 2, or if I nailed it on one of your pain points, echo it down below so we can share it, so Bungie hopefully maybe can see it. As always, thank you so much for coming and watching, and I will catch you in the next one.